Oyeladun. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about what it is and how I felt for my first SFI class. Actually I had my first SFI class last week Wednesday, and no, this week Wednesday. Yeah, and it was fun. Really fun. Yeah. It's really cold out here, guys. So my class began 5:30, but my teacher was a little late, and then all of us were many. In my class alone were about 30. All of us stayed out because in Sweden here, until your lecturer is available, classes are not open, so you have to sit at the corridor waiting for the teacher. So we had to wait for my teacher, and thanks goodness she eventually came, and then we began the class. To think that I'd already missed a class, a Monday class earlier, so I thought I was going to miss out a lot. But trust me, because I had learned from the booklet we were given, I'd covered a lot: the alphabet, the clock, telling time, and others. Okay, so the first thing I observed in the class, and it was so amazing, and at first it scared me, was that the class was not taught in English. It was taught in Swedish. So I kept looking at my teacher's mouth because she was just speaking proper Swedish, and say, "Your first afternoon, like, do you understand now? Do you understand everything?" And I would say, "Nay." Say, Oyeladun. In fact, that was one of the challenges she had. And then she will interpret. But I noticed that under 1 hour of that class, I was able to understand her. I was able to decode many of the things she was saying. So the problem was solved under 1 hour. So that made me reason that the strategy of teaching Swedish with Swedish language, even to many of us that already understood English language, it's perfect. Because the more we hear, the more our ears adjust to, learning the language. So that was my first shock in my first SFI class. Yeah, my second shock was when my teacher began to analyze how to correlate, how to compare English with Swedish language. And then she was talking about noun, singular noun, plural noun. And then she said, in Swedish language, you don't need to add any extra letter to make a singular noun plural. For example, you say, en book, that's a book. Flera book. Either n means one or single, or flera, it is still book. So plural doesn't take additional letters, so that makes it easy. So I only need to learn the prefix in Swedish, the prefix to make it singular and plural when I'm going through my Swedish language. Although we discovered that in while I was going through SFI on Duolingo, there are strategies to pluralizing Swedish words, which I will still talk about at another time. But first thing to understand is that there is no need to add any additional letter. Like English we say church, churches. No, here is Shrika, and then Flera Shrika. There's nothing like a church, many churches in Swedish language. This is just a side talk. When I came here, this is an apple tree in my compound, and it actually had a lot of red apple, and the other one white green apple. I almost called it white apple. So this red apple, and then this green apple. And now I discovered that it's been cut. So it reminded me of it, you know, a structure in the scripture. You prune it. When you prune a tree, it brings forth. Maybe that's the strategy they are using here. But I'm watching. I'm just few months in this apartment, so I'm watching to see what actually they want to achieve. Okay, let me go back to my Swedish talk. My another shock I had, you know, was to discover that in Swedish, some 100 years ago, they actually used to use something in Yoruba, in my dialect, we call culture, respect. For example, in Yoruba now, if I want to talk to my mom, say, Ekbele, you know, if I don't want to translate it in English, maybe my mom calls someone, I'm not going to call my sister, Damilola, they are calling you. Then you now ask, who are they? Actually, it's my mom. It is Yoruba bringing respect into English, you know, using English because of our culture. So our teacher mentioned that in some 100 years ago, Swedish were like that. So when they want to address, so there is this what do I call it? Pronoun, Swedish pronoun, du, like you. In Swedish, in some 100 years ago, you cannot say you to an elder, someone in position of authority, someone of high esteem. I'm a lot cold here. Some of high esteem in some 100 years ago. So you rather say ni, that's like they, okay? But today, do is do, eh? Do is do, han is an, hon is on. Han is for male. Han sita, that's is sitting. Hon sita, she's is sitting. Han itola, and tola he telephone, is speaking on the phone. Hon tola his telephone. So whether you're a king, a queen, a prince, a princess, whatever you are, you simply take the normal pronoun. There is no respect in Swedish language. That's another shock I had. So cold out here. Although it's a lot better, I dare not step out this way. Last week's stroke, earlier this week. You know, it's rain, snow here, and that's why we still have everywhere white. In fact, I can even see green grass now. It was impossible sometimes last week, but it's getting better. It's getting better. So back to my SFI class. So the class was interesting. We interacted. That's one of the most beautiful part of the class. We are, you know, what we do is every teaching, we practice speaking it with one another. We interacted, we exchanged contact, and I had fun for 3 whole hours. And then we set to go home. My first week in SFI class, that's my first class, was really very interesting, and I look forward to more interesting session with my class and then my colleagues in SFI. And thank you for spending this time with me. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so that you can always get notified whenever I drop new information as I progress in my SFI journey here in Sweden. This is Oyeladun learns Swedish. Edo.